Hello all. In today's video, we are going to look at the top 60 questions related to HPLM. These are the mostly asked interview questions related to the HPLM. So first question is, what does ALM stand for, or what is the full form of ALM? So ALM is nothing but application lifecycle management. This is also called as HPQC, which stands for where QC stands for the quality center. Then the next question is, what is quality center? So Quality Center or HP Quality Center is a web-based test management tool. Okay, so here we can access this Quality Center over the internet by using web browser. It involves the interrelated steps such as defining release, developing the requirement, designing and execution of test, then monitoring and reporting the defect. So generally this HPQC or the Quality Center is a product of HP. So it is known as a HPQC. The HPALM, that is Application Lifecycle Management Tool, it is a web-based test management tool that supports the various phases of a software development lifecycle. It helps in improving the application quality with the more effective implementation of project, and it's a cost-effective solution as well. So basically, in short, you can remember the Quality Center is one web-based test management tool. Then the next question is, what are the features of quality center? So the different features of quality center are: the QC helps to maintain the project database. Okay, this it helps to maintain the project database of a test data that covers the all functionality of application. Then it offers the integration with HP testing tools. Okay, then it provides the, you can say, efficient method for scheduling the and execution of test set. It also helps to defect tracking, then enabling and monitoring the defect closely from initial detection to resolution, and by linking QC to email system, the defect tracking information can share by all application development. Then quality assurance and customer support, these are the different features of quality center. Then the next question is, what is the purpose of choosing this particular HPALM? So as we have already seen, it is a web-based test management tool to test the web application, right? And by acting the productive communication, so it is one of the key benefit of tool, that is it integrate with the automation tool like OTP or load runner, or QTP or load runner, or WinRunner for efficient testing purpose. This particular HPLM tool is used. Then the next question is, what is the major difference between QC and HPQC and ALM? So the main difference between HPQC and ALM is the HPALM is used by the corporate that need the basic feature for supporting their entire software lifecycle, and QC, there is a different, you can say, HPQC enterprise edition is there. So this HPQC enterprise edition is used by the corporate more commonly, who use the ALM for testing purpose, also provides the integration with the UFT, right? And the another version of HPLM with a center edition, it is suitable for the organization that like they are using the, who they are using the load runner for performance testing, so they can use the HPLM. Then what does ALM do? What is actually the task of ALM? So ALM manage the project. You can store the requirement, test, defect into it. And you can also build the report with the help of it. So this is nothing but the task of ALM. Then what is the first and latest version of the quality center? The quality center 8.0 is the first version, and the latest version of ALM is 12.0. Then what is the advantage of quality center? The quality center is referred as a complete test management tool, and it the main advantage is it back up the high level of communication. Then the quality center it used along with the automation tool like a QTP, WinRunner, Load Runner. It can be easily integrated for the analysis and tracking of the test process. So this is the main advantage of quality center. Then what is mean by instances? So basically, the instance or test instance is required to run the test cases in the lab. We can't directly run the test case in the lab. Instead, we need to run the test instance for the test case, or simply test case is imported from the test plan to test lab module is called as a instance of the test case. It is possible to have a multiple instances for same test case in the test lab module. So in simple word you can also answer like uh, the instance means a test case imported from the test plan module to test lab module is called as a instance. Then the main or you can also answer like it is a copy of test case that contain the various test steps, right? Then the next question is what is mean by version control. So basically the version control is used to keep a track of the changes made in entities in the project. We can use the version control. We can create a QC entities and also keep the previous version of those entities in the requirement to track the what are the different changes are there. Then is it possible to maintain the test data in quality center? So one can attach the test data to corresponding test cases or create the separate folder in test plan to store them. You can store it. Then what is mean by not covered and not run status? What is the difference between not covered and not run? So basically, the not covered status means all those requirements from which the test cases are not written, and whereas not run status means all those requirements for which test cases are written but not run or not executed. So basically, the not covered status means requirement for those tests neither created nor mapped, means that particular test cases are not created, and in not run means they are created, they are written but not executed yet. Then the main question is what is mean by purge run. So purge run is the process used to delete the old test result in the project. Okay, so purge run used to delete the old test results in the project. By default purge run delete all the run result in the selected test set. So generally this purge run is used for delete only test runs or delete only test steps. So this is nothing but the purge run. So can you schedule a test plan in HPLM? Yes, you can schedule the test by navigating to execution flow tab will be there, and by selecting test run schedule you can schedule it. Then explain how you can customize the defect management cycle in quality center. So one should gather all the features or the attributes that have to be a part of the defect management, like defect origin, version, defect detail. And then in QC by using modify option, you can change the defect modules accordingly. Okay. Then what is meant by test lab? So test lab, a test case can be executed are actually created in a test plan module and imported into test lab for further execution to generate the summary of report. So in order to execute the test cases which are developed in the test plan module either manually or automated, it need to be imported into test lab module. For what? For execution purpose is nothing but the test lab. Or in short, you can answer like the test lab is a part of quality center where we can execute the test cases for different cycle, and creating the test tree for each one of them is nothing but the test lab. Then the next question is how can we save the test executed in test plan. So that particular test cases are saved automatically. Once you click on the end run button it get saved. Then what is mean by unattached folder in test plan? When we delete the folder in a test from the test plan tree, there are two ways. We can delete only folder or we can delete the folder itself folder and test cases also. We can delete only folder. Okay, so this test under its move to the unattached folder in the test plan tree. Then the next is, what is the risk category? So we can determine the risk category for each assessment requirement under the analysis of requirement. It depends on the two factor. One is the business criticality or failure probability. Then the next is, what is the matching defect? So matching defect help us to find out if we want to eliminate the duplicate or similar defect. So here there are two methods to separate the similar defect: either finding similar defect with comparing the selected defect and all other existing defect, or finding the text similar text which compares the specific test strings against the all existing defect. The next is, what are the benefits of using quality center? So it can be, the main benefit, it can be accessed through a browser, web browser, or internet explorer browser. Then the project database in test can be maintained by QC. Then it can integrate with the HP testing tools like QTP load runner, right? It helps for effective execution of test case. Then QC can be linked to a email system. It can use for creating report, right? Then the next is, the main question, define the HPLM workflow. So HPLM workflow include the release specification, then requirement specification, test planning, test execution, and defect tracking is the workflow of HPLM. Then what is the architecture of HPLM? The HPLM architecture include the HPLM client, then ALM server, application server, database server, which include the site administrator schema, then lab project and project schema. Then the next is, what are the supported database in ALM? So the ALM supports the database like MySQL, then Oracle. The version of Oracle will be like 9.2, 10.2. Like the different database are supported by ALM. Then what are the main components of HPLM? So HPLM include the components like HPLM client, means your web browser, and ALM server and database server are the main components of ALM. Then what is the HPALM or quality center used for, or what are the benefits of or feature? So basically this HPALM center is a test management tool, and the main benefit, as we have already discussed, it can integrate with the different automation tools. Then what are the benefits of using quality center? The another benefits of using quality center is, it can integrate, as we have already seen. Then QC can link with the email system, and it can use for creating a report and graph is the main benefit of quality center. Then it supports the different virtual environments like a Citrix, then a Citrix Zen app 6.0, VMware ESX 5.0, like that is the main benefit. Then what are the different modules in ALM? There are different modules in ALM. So the main modules are like dashboard, then management, requirement, testing, and defects are the main modules of ALM. And the different modules in quality center are like the release module. It allows you to create a project release. Each release can have a multiple cycle. Then requirement module. It allows us to managing the requirement, like what we are testing, what is requirement topic and items which are analyzing the requirement. The test plan. It allows the right test cases and requirement in hierarchical tree. Then test resources. It allows to manage the test resources. Test lab, allowed to run a test and analyze the result. Then defect module, it allows us to log all the failed test cases in result. And dashboard allows us to create the graphs and the report. So these are the different modules in ALM. Then the different modules in the quality center are same, means release module, requirement module, test plan, test resources, test lab, defect module, and dashboard are the modules which are comes under the QC. So always remember, the answer of both the questions are same. Then mention, what does dashboard analysis consist of? What actually dashboard consists of? Dashboard include the analysis view and dashboard view. So in analysis view, it contain the analysis tree, using which project managers or QA can arrange all the analysis items like graph, Excel reports, and project report. And in dashboard view, it contains the dashboard tree which manage the tester and arrange the dashboard page. Can arrange the multiple graph that was formed in an analysis tree, and you can see it into a single view. Then what are the predefined groups of HPLM? The predefined groups of HPLM are the, you can say it in simple word, the different predefined groups of HPLM include the mostly the requirement or developer. The predefined group is developer, then project manager, QA tester, TD admin, viewers are the different predefined groups. Okay, then next question is, mention what are the different editions for HPLM. The different editions of HPLM are HPLM Essential, then Enterprise Edition, and the Performance Center are the different editions of HPLM. Then, how do you find out the duplicate defect? So, just what are the one question is remaining. What are the types of graphs available in HPLM? So, different types of graphs available in HPLM are, or the types of uh, the what are the different types of graphs available in HPLM? The different types of graphs like graph, report, live analysis graph are available in HPLM, and the different graph types like a requirement coverage graph, requirement summary graph, the test set summary graph, or defect progress graph, defect summary graph, defect age graph are the different types of graph are available. Then what is the difference between entity graph and business view graph? So the main difference between entity and business view graph is, entity graph is related either with a defect or requirement or the test or test set, and business view graph is related with the single entity or combination of defect, is the main difference between both the graph. Then the different predefined groups of ALM we have already seen, like a developer, project manager, QA tester, TD admin, and viewers are the different predefined group. Then what are the different editions for HPLM? That is essential, enterprise edition, and performance center. Then the main question is, how do you find out the duplicate bug in the quality center? So for finding duplicate bug, you can use the tab like find similar defect. There is one button and you can enter the defect description in brief, and it will show you the similar defects or the similar bug with it. Then the next question is, what is mean by filter, or why you are using it? To see the record that meet the specific criteria that we define, we can use the filter. Then how to avoid the duplication of bug in HPQC? By entering the bug title in new bug section and hit find a similar defect. By using that particular similar defect tab, you can enter brief description or title. It will gives you a list, or it will identify the similar bug which are already reported, and in that way you can avoid that particular duplication. Then how would you import the test cases in Excel? So to import the test cases in Excel, you have to find out the appropriate plugin. Means you have to install the plugin for export the test cases. This is found on the Microfocus website, and this plugin can insert it into a Microsoft Excel. Once that plugin is installed, you need to map the Excel columns to appropriate test plan field. So in that way you can import the test cases in Excel. Then the next question is, mention how many types of tabs are there in Quality Center. So basically there are different tabs in the Quality Center, like requirement to track the customer requirement. Then test plan for what? In test plan you store the test script and design the test cases. Test lab to track the result and execute the test case, and defect to track down the log defect. Okay, so these are the different, you can say, different tabs are there in the test lab. Then the main question is, what is the test lab? So basically the test lab module helps the tester to execute the created test cases. Then what is the difference between test lab and test plan? So test plan is where you can write down and store your test cases, and in test lab you can run or execute that particular test case. And a test run means what? Test run is an audit log for all the tests ever run. Then the next question is, what is meant by Sprinter in HPLM? So Sprinter is a tool that helps to accelerate the manual testing process, or you can say it is a plugin that included in the HPLM. Some of the features include like a smart defect, macros, annotation tool, and mirroring. So basically, the Sprinter is a testing tool created to speed up the manual testing process, and features, different features are covered under it, like we have already seen the macros, annotation tool, or mirroring. Then what is mean by sprinter injection? So basically this particular sprinter data injection is, using this printer you can enter the test data into application by matching the column names and with the field names with the application. You can insert the multi set of data directly into application with respect to matching fields at one go. So this printer data injection is a feature in a ALM, using which you can enter the data into application, and we can insert a multi set of data directly into application with respective matching field at once, is the sprinter data injection. Then how are the releases and cycles are managed by HPLM? So here every product has a many specific release, and every release has a specific number of cycles, right? So even in the release also have the scope and the milestones which are predefined. So few test cases and requirements are associated with each release. After executing the test cases, defect may found during the test execution. These defects can be mapped against the respective test cases and are mapped to a corresponding requirement too. So basically you can remember the difference between release and cycle. So basically the release represent the group of changes in one or more application that are available for the distribution at same time. Each release can contain a number of cycle, and cycle is a set of development and quality assurance effort performance to achieve the common goal based on the release time. Both the release and cycle have a defined defined start and end dates. Then the next question is, explain the use of releases and cycle. So each product is deployed as many release and lot of cycle is associated with each release, right? So each release has a predefined scope and the milestone associated with each one. The next question is, what are the libraries? So basically the libraries are the ways to track the changes. You can use the library to track changes in requirement, resources, and test cases. Then what are the advantages of libraries in ALM? As we have already seen, to track the changes libraries are used. So the main advantage is, the library represent the collection in the entities in ALM, including relationship to each other. And libraries also allows you to collect the same entities as a versioning, means according to a changes, is the main advantage of library. Then what is the business component? So basically the business component is used for the business process testing process, like known as a BPT. This business component provides the script free environment for creating a test. So basically the business component, a test contain multiple test steps, right? And these steps are preferred to business component. It is useful when there are repetitive tests and make the automation of test either at the step or the group, right? Or basically you can say the business component is used for the business process testing known as a BPT. This business component provides the script free environment for creating a test, right? Then the main question is, how many types of reports are there in ALM. So basically, the requirement module report, test plan module report, test lab module report, defect module reports are the different types of reports present in the ALM. Then what is meant by defect tracking? So basically, the defect tracking is where you can track. Defect tracking means locating and repairing the application defect efficiently. Here, defect tracking include the workflow like adding the defect, then reviewing the new defect, repairing the open defect, then testing new application build, and analyzing the test data. Then what is the requirement traceability matrix? So basically, this requirement traceability matrix is map between the requirement and test case and test scenarios. The traceability matrix links the business requirement to corresponding functionality requirement traceability matrix. It is updated by development and testing team, and it is used by the stakeholder to project to check all the requirements in address. So basically, this requirement traceability matrix is used to track the benefit of requirement traceability matrix is basically here the you can track from the link indicating the requirement that affect the selected requirement and track the link each requirement that are affected by selected requirement is the main benefit. So basically, the requirement traceability defines the relationship between two or more requirements. When analyzing the impact or a change processed by specific requirement, this traceability link indicate the other requirement. In the requirement tree, we can establish the traceability between the requirement. So the main benefit is that QC alerts the affected requirement that can be seen by all the user. This QC sends the email notification to the authors of the affected requirement. Then the main question is what is the difference between test management tool and defect management tool? So test management tool enables the tester to create, execute and log the defect, while defect management tool helps to create and track the defect only. Then the next question is how to use the quality center in real time project. So basically, to complete the different steps you have to follow to use the quality center in real time project. So first step is complete the preparation of test cases, then export the test cases into QC and load them into test plan module, then move this particular test case into 10 test lab for what, for execution purpose, then execute the test cases and check the result. If we got any defect, raise the defect. These are the some steps you have to follow for using the QC for real time project. Then how many builds are in the table does quality center have? So there are total, you can say, the total 6 tables are there. So what are the different tables built in the table? So test table, test step table, test set table, run table, defect table and requirement table are the different tables having QC. Then what are the phases of test management with the quality center in order? So there are 5 phases: specific release, then specific requirement, plan test, execute test and track defect are the different phases in the test management. Then what is mean by defect tracking? So basically, the defect tracking is a method of finding and removing the defect from application. We can add or defect in defect project at any stage of the application management process is nothing but the defect tracking. So these are the different questions or important interview related question related to HPALM. So please check all of the videos of our channel in description box and on I button. Do comment on which next point you want next video. Thank you all. Please subscribe to our channel. Please do share and like. Thank you.